Okay. November 23rd, 2025. It's 7:30 in the morning. A 31-year-old woman in Graz, Austria, sends a text message to a friend. She's confirming she's home safe after a party. It's a completely standard routine message.
The kind of text we've all sent.
Exactly. But 5 minutes later, everything changes. A second message goes out, and this one contains this just a chilling, immediate warning. It says, "There's a creep in the stairwell." She even describes a dark figure.
And that message, that was the last thing she ever sent.
Within just a few hours, her phone would be found, just carelessly dumped in some bushes near her apartment.
Her Golden Retriever Marlow, a dog she adored, was found all alone inside the building.
And the person responsible, her ex-boyfriend, was arrested near the Slovenian border, standing right next to his burning car.
Welcome to the final hour.
For today's deep dive, we are analyzing the source material surrounding a case that it completely rocked the Austrian digital community. This is the abduction and murder of the beauty influencer Stefanie Pieper.
Yeah, it's a story about authenticity,
Yeah.
about a toxic relationship that just refused to end, and about the tragic, critical importance of that final text message.
Yeah. So before we get into those final fatal hours, I think it's so important to understand who Stefanie Pieper was. The woman that Peter M. targeted.
Absolutely. She was 31, living in the Gajdorf district of Graz, which is a
University quarter.
Exactly.
The reports describe her as
Right.
about 5'8" with dark blonde hair.
Yep.
But what really defined her, at least to the
Right.
public, was her digital life.
Absolutely. And she had a substantial following. We're talking over 42,000 followers. But she wasn't building a presence based on, fantasy or filters.
Right.
Stefanie was a professional makeup artist, a recognized brand ambassador. She was essentially running this huge digital salon, and it was focused on education, on real technical expertise.
She had that anti-filter philosophy, which I think is so important.
It is. It means the community she built was based on genuine skill and transparency.
Yeah.
Not just, chasing likes or presenting a fake version of herself.
And that transparency, it's such a key part of her identity. I mean, if you look past the makeup
Right.
tutorials and the source material, you see this much more vulnerable, grounded side to her.
Yeah, exactly.
She was musically talented, played piano and guitar, and would post these really intimate covers. But her ultimate grounding point, the one thing everyone knew about her, was her devotion to her golden retriever,
Marlow.
Marlow. She called herself Marlow's mom first and foremost.
And that devotion, that absolute reliability,
Yeah.
that is precisely what served as the immediate alarm bell later on.
Right.
People who knew Stefanie understood that her whole life was scheduled around her dog's needs and her professional commitments. She was always on time. She always showed up.
Right.
So when she went silent, when she missed something, it wasn't just unusual. It was a screaming red flag.
There's also one deeply personal detail we need to bring up now because it becomes so significant later.
Okay.
She had a tattoo on her left forearm, a tribute to our mother. It read, Scylla.
And that detail tragically becomes a primary identifier during the investigation. It's how they could confirm it was her.
Okay, so now we have to turn our focus to the darkness that was encroaching on her life. Peter M., her ex-boyfriend.
He was also 31,
Right.
Slovenian national. He worked as a nightclub bouncer and also dabbles in amateur poker.
Right.
Their relationship is described as the classic volatile on-off scenario.
Which is so often code for something much more toxic.
It is. And what's crucial to understand here is that by the time of the murder, the relationship was formally over. But the dynamic of control,
Yeah.
he refused to accept it. Neighbors reported seeing him frequently, just lingering near her apartment, sometimes waiting for her. I mean, this is textbook behavior for an abuser who was transitioning into a stalker after a breakup.
So the breakup doesn't end that need for control.
It just amplifies it. The sources
Right.
make it so clear that the period right after a separation is, statistically, the most lethal for victims.
Right. Okay. Let's examine the timeline leading up to that final confrontation. This is Sunday, November 23rd. The sources show
Right.
Stefanie was at a Christmas party at a
exactly.
venue in Graz.
And we now know that Peter M. was also at that same venue.
That is terrifying confirmation.
Right. It shows he wasn't just, lurking near her home. He was embedded in her social world, making sure he knew exactly when and how she would be alone.
So the final hours begin around 7 a.m. Stefanie leaves the party, she takes a taxi, and she arrives home in Gajdorf.
At 7:15 a.m., she sends that routine WhatsApp message, the safe text. She lets her friend know she's inside.
She was home, probably getting ready for her morning routine.
Exactly.
Right.
But she was likely getting ready to take Marlow for his walk. Everything felt normal, domestic, safe.
And then at 7:30 a.m., that sense of safety is just violently shattered. She sends that final message. There's a creep in the stairwell, describing a dark figure.
Right. She trusted her gut, which is a key takeaway here. She labeled the threat accurately right before she lost the ability to communicate anything at all.
Just 5 minutes later, at 7:35 a.m., the fight for her life began. Neighbors reported hearing loud noises, arguing, coming from near her apartment.
And this is where the tragedy just compounds. Those sounds were dismissed. People heard them and just thought, oh, it's a domestic dispute, something you don't get involved in.
But it wasn't a squabble. Peter M. later confessed to strangling her during that struggle.
And it's so vital to acknowledge what strangulation represents in these cases. It is not quick. It's not a momentary act. It requires several minutes of sustained, intimate physical force.
After the murder, witnesses saw Peter M. leaving the building. He was carrying a large, heavy object described as either a suspicious rolled fabric or a large suitcase.
Right. That was Stefanie's body.
Yes.
And his first clumsy attempt at a cover-up was turning off her phone and just tossing it in the bushes nearby. A huge mistake, really, because it ensured the police would eventually find those critical final messages.
Right.
Meanwhile, the main alarm bell is her missing that photo shoot on Monday.
Yes. Her professional absence.
Right. Stefanie misses a
Exactly.
scheduled professional photo shoot. And because she was so incredibly reliable, the photographer immediately knew this was a serious problem.
So the photographer goes to her apartment to check on her, and this is critical. He runs into Peter M. nearby.
That anomaly, the ex-boyfriend lurking around the apartment of his suddenly missing, very reliable ex-partner.
Plus finding Marlow alone in the apartment. That's it. The investigation immediately escalates to a full-scale manhunt. Everyone knew Stefanie would never, ever have just left her dog.
That immediately focuses the investigation.
Right. So police recover the phone, they see the creep text, and they realize Peter M. is the prime suspect. The only suspect, really. But by then, he was already on the run.
Right. He drove his red Volkswagen Golf south across the border into Slovenia.
And by 8 p.m. that same Monday, Slovenian police are called to a vehicle fire. It's Peter M.'s car. He set it on fire in the parking lot of the Mon Casino, right near the border. He's trying to destroy forensic evidence, DNA, fibers, anything linking him and the car to the crime. But his panic is showing. You don't try to destroy a crime scene in a high-traffic area that is completely blanketed with surveillance cameras.
It's just disorganized panic behavior.
Totally. And he was arrested right there, near the burning car.
Yeah.
And it gets even more disturbing.
Right.
The investigation didn't stop with him.
On Wednesday, November 26th, police arrested Peter M.'s brother and his stepfather. They were suspected of helping him, either with disposing of the body or with hiding evidence. Sniffer dogs were even deployed to his grandmother's property during the search.
Stefanie Pieper's digital archive ensures her legacy will endure.
Absolutely.
Her makeup tutorials teaching confidence, her covers sharing her soul, and all her posts about Marlow showing her deep, grounded heart. She was beloved, reliable, and deeply mourned by the community she worked so hard to build.
And, the real takeaway here isn't just about trusting your gut, which Stefanie clearly did.
Right.
It's about what we do when we hear those domestic disturbances. That's often the last chance to step in. Her friend, the photographer, knew something was wrong and checked immediately. That's the right move. Don't wait.
Trust your intuition and have a safety plan.
And in an age where this kind of digital visibility is often necessary for professional and social success, this case really forces us to ask a difficult, provocative question. What boundaries should we all set? What security measures must people implement to truly balance that visibility with their physical safety?
Is there a way to foster a genuine community without degrading the privacy that we all need for our own protection?
It's something we all need to think about.
If this deep dive moved you, and if it gave you some valuable context, please hit that like button and subscribe to The Final Hour.
Totally. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our next investigation. Drop a comment below about any safety practices you rely on, or maybe a time your own intuition helped you. Let's continue this conversation.
Stefanie Pieper will be remembered. She'll be remembered through the vibrant life she shared, the confidence she taught, and the deep, unwavering love she had for her mother, Scylla, and for her dog, Marlow. Until next time,
stay aware, stay connected, and please stay safe.